This conference will now be recorded.
So let's talk about a situation here. Can everybody go on mute? Somebody is unmuted, it seems. Okay, let's say situation here. Test one. I don't take test one now. Let's say Karan belongs to accounting and Arjun came as intern in accounting. So in the same case, so in this case, what we may want to keep Arjun in an intern group while creating his account, but we want Arjun to have access of read and write and execute of accounting folders, accounting users. Let's say Karan is having a file. We want Arjun to have access, but I want only Arjun to have access except accounting users. So let's say Karan is tagged to accounting. So obviously, what are all files Karan is having will have access to all accounting users. But I want another intern who came and which is not part of the complete accounting user will hold all the users who has permanently joined this company XYZ joined the company and they are an employee of accounting. So but here this is an intern it's not a permanent employee. Intern it's kind of like temporary, which may or may not join the company after uh, finishing off the internship. So for the intern people there is a separate group when while creating the account. So this is a case, I'm just assuming it's not the actual scenario, but scenario may differ based on case to case. So
But your voice is not audible, sir.
Hmm. So Karan is user, which belongs to accounting user, and Karan is having a file, so or folder, which means that this file and folder can be accessible by all the accounting users. Now we are having a new person called intern. We want him to understand uh, how things works, how sales works, and based on that, Arjun might require to create some of the reports and present to the team. So Arjun definitely will need access to current files, but he may not need or every or he we need not to give this Arjun access to all of the files of all accounting user. So let's say if you are adding this Arjun to accounting user, what will happen? He will have all the files of current folder. He will have access to all the files of current folder because Arjun is also a member of accounting user. So whatever the permission accounting users will have for read, write, execute, Arjun will also have. So now this is a kind of policy. We call these peculiar thing based on requirement to be get changed. We call this as a policy. Certain rule you wanted to implement based on your requirement, based on your scenario. You wanted to implement some certain rules. So what is the rule we wanted to implement here? We want this folder, let's say sales of this is September month, correct? Let's say August sales. There is a folder called August sales, okay? And Karan has already created report. We want Arjun to have access only for this. So we need to write down a access policy to have Arjun access granted only for August sales folder only. But we want him only read and execute access. We don't want write. Write we don't want. So we want read and execute access only here for kernel. So this can be achieved only by writing an access policy. So what we call this policies, list of policies here is access control policy. We can say this ACL. This is what we call ACL. We are required to write down an ACL so that we can give an access uh, for particular folder to a particular user. And the same thing you can modify according to your requirement. You can remove a particular access from a particular user as well. So let's see how we are achieving that here. So make sure that whatever user we are talking about, so make sure that whenever you are writing the policy, whenever you are giving an ACL or whenever you are running an ACL command, you need to have admin privilege, because only admin can modify or read or write or remove ACLs. So either you need to be root or you need to have sudo. Anything in between both should be there. Just give me a second. Okay, let's see the command. So we have test one and test2 users. Okay, so let me go in test1 user. So let me delete some files. Those files belongs to other users. Now I am into root and I am having test1 user. So what was my requirement is, let's say I'm creating a folder. So let test1 user is creating a folder. So let me log in through test, not test1 actually. Okay, and I am into test1 user. Now create a file test1 underscore user. You can see that test1 underscore user has a permission of, sorry, test1 is having the permission of test1 underscore users. Or let's name it rename it to August underscore sales to get a better understanding what we have taken as an example. You can see that August underscore sales test one is having a permission of it. Now for test one, we have read write. This is a directory read write execute for test one, read write execute for the test one group, and read and execute for other group. Okay, so let's switch to a user test. Now test user here currently whatever we are looking at, consider that this is an intern, this is an Arjun, and Arjun wanted to have access to files of August sales. So let me see if August sales, okay, he has the access. So let me remove the access from other groups. So I will go outside. I will be in the test one user and then ch mode and then 770 August underscore sales. I believe I need not to explain what is 770 here. Now if I look at this, it should say read write execute, and yep. So now switch back to test user and now do the ls. We have August underscore sales, but let's see the permission of August underscore sales. We can see that we are not able to see what is inside August underscore sales. So test is a user or test is an intern which is not part of test one, and we wanted to give permission to this user. How we can do that is assigning a policy. So coming to the policy command, so get FSCL is a command for getting the policy. Get FSCL is a command for getting the policy of a particular folder or file. Get FSCL and then August underscore sales. We can see that here we have for for users we have this permission, for group we have this permission. Redirect for others we don't have permission. So now what we want to add a policy for test user also. Now we can see that test user on test one is having the access. Now switch back to root user. First switch back to admin so that we can set the policy. So for that command is set FSCL -m is for modify the policy, and then we want test user to have read, not write, and then execute permission to what? To August sales. This is how we should be writing. Set FSCL -m is we are trying to modify, and what we are trying to modify? We are trying to modify for test user, and then we wanted to add a permission for read and execute, not write. sales underscore August. Sorry, August underscore sales folder. So we are doing here from root user. So let's enter. Now see using get FSCL, then August underscore sales. You can see that we have a user added test, read, and execute. Previously, we were not having this user. So now switch to test user, and now give the, you can see that previously when we, where is that? When we have switched to test, and we were able to see the ls of test one, we were able to see that. But when we tried to see ls of August underscore sales, we got permission denied. Okay. After that, we got to check the policy list here by using get FSCL. We have switched to admin user. We have added the policy so that this can have this test user also can have access of read and execute of this folder. After that, we have set it. We have checked whether the setting has been done correctly or not. And after that, we have switched back to test user. And after switching back to test user, we have done the ls as previously we were able to do. Last time also you can see we were able to do. Now we have seen that we were able to do ls inside this directory also, since we have read and execute permission. So actually doing ls inside a file or going inside a directory will require you to have execute permission. Then only you can go inside a directory. Else you will not be able to go inside a directory if you don't have execute permission. You are not going to execute anything, but still you are trying to go somewhere. So I will switch to the test one user, the original user of this August underscore sales file, test one, and then I will modify a file. Let's say inside August sales mkdir temporary sales cd space temporary sales, and then let's say I'm going to create a file XYZ company, XYZ, XYZ company, and yep. So we have this file. We have August sales. Inside that we have temp underscore sales folder, and inside the test temp underscore sales folder, we have XYZ file. So we let us check that whether intern who has joined, to whom we have given the permission, that's test user, have permission to this file or not. So switch to his user, test user, and now let's
पंखा से चलाए
see.
आती मेरे लिए।
Please be on mute, everyone. Requesting. cd space /home cd space test1 was having that folder ls August cd space August underscore sales ls cd space temp sales ls xyz cat xyz. We are able to read. Obviously, xyz does not have any content, so we will not get anything. But we are able to read the content of xyz. So let's try to write it down something. Write down a file or modify, try to modify a file here. So touch and then xyz dot duplicate. So test user in turn here in current case whatever I'm trying to do is intern which is having test user is trying to create a duplicate file or any xyz file inside the temp sales directory which has been created by the another user. So but which we don't want to give, we don't want to have access. So let's come back to this diagram. So here we have test user, sorry, here we have Arjun and Karan. Karan was having August underscore sales folder. In that, Karan has created a file that is called XYZ. Arjun does have access. We have given Arjun access to have read and execute XYZ file, but Arjun is trying to write in this folder August underscore sales, which we don't want to, and that is why we have not given write access. Let's see whether Arjun is able to do write or not. You can see that Arjun is not able to do anything here because it says permission denied. We have never given a permission to Arjun. Okay. So after some point of time, let's say if you want to remove permission from Arjun for everything, then you can simply add, go to root and then simply add set fsel -m test don't have any permission of August underscore sales. Get fsel. Now check whatever we have done whether it's working or not. So you can see that previously test user was having read dash execute permission, but now user is having no permissions. Now let's go ahead and check switch user test and then let's see August underscore sales. We don't have permissions. Previously we were granted permission, but now permission has been removed. So we don't have permission for that. Is it clear to everyone whatever has been shown here? Yep. So this is all about ACL. By using this command, you can grant permission. Grant. You can remove permissions, certain permissions, and that is what you can do. So based on some scenarios, you can execute commands according to your requirement, your needs. Yep. So let's consider another scenario. Now we are done with ACL. Now we are going to discuss about the quota method. What is quota method? What is administrating spaces using that? So we'll talk about that here. Just give me a second. Hmm. So next situation we have, next thing what we wanted to understand is restriction of or adding restrictions for users towards the space in a hard disk. Let's say you are having a hard disk. Let's consider the previous scenario. You are having an LVM partition, okay? But whatever experiment we will perform here currently, we will not perform on LVM. We will perform on a normal hard disk. But since we have already gone into the LVM, let's consider the scenario based on LVM. Okay. So you are having an LVM partition, let's say, which is having 3 TB of hard disk. Okay. Now given you have 30 users. Okay. In your organization, you have 30 users. So what you wanted to do is you have created account for 30 user 1, user 2. Similarly, you have created 30 user accounts and you have given access to sandbox. Now everybody understand the sandbox or developer folder. Why we're talking about these two folders, sandbox and developer folder. So sandbox folder and developer folder, everybody has got the access. So in developer folder, we will have all the users, all the user home folder. Let's say user 1. Just give me a second. Let me check. Hope this goes better. Okay. Fine. No problem. Let's have this. Let's go for the LVM and let's have 3 TB hard disk. In this 3 TB, we have 30 users and we have user 1, user 2 till user 30. So we have And to all this user, we have given access to folder called developer. In this developer folder, we will have access to all the 3 TB space. So let's say user one is a developer. He is trying to develop, and for his development, he has downloaded files, lots of files in user one directory. In user one directory, he has downloaded lots of files, and he has consumed, let's say, 1.1.5 TB space. This user one itself consumed 1.5 TB. Now user 2 is coming, he has consumed 1 TB. Now user 3 is coming, he has consumed 500 MB, sorry 500 GB. Now you can see that 1.5 TB, 500 GB and 1 TB, it's all 3 TB got consumed. Your whole 3 TB got consumed by 3 user 1, user 2 and 3. What you will, if user 3 is user 1, 2, 3, if user 4 is coming and asking for a space, user 4 will face that we don't have a space. User 4 does not have a space. So what you will do? This situation is not a good situation, that everybody needs to have a fair amount of space so that everybody can write it down according to their requirement. So for that you have to divide spaces based on your users and based on your resources so that everybody gets the fair amount of spaces. So let's say if I have 30 users and I have 3 TB space, so definitely I am able to think of that. I will give 100 GB, 100 GB to every user, to user 1, to user 2, and to user 3 as well. 100 GB. So 300 GB only gone. Now I will tell that user 1, whatever you want to do, you have to do within 1 GB space only. So how I can achieve that? I can achieve that using quota command. There is a quota command in Linux which restricts user space and then which monitors and restricts a user for in terms of spaces so that a particular user will not be able to create or will be able to create based on the requirement, based on your limitation. If you strictly don't want to create a user to have more than 100 GB file, yes, you can restrict a user. If you want a user to be get restricted, sorry, if you want to permit a user to have more than 100 GB but needs to be get notified or needs to be get restricted after 2 days of his usage, that also you can do. You can give permission to user one to have more than 100 GB spaces to utilize for 2 days, more than 2 days, and you can send him a warning. Not warning, but you can send him a mail, or when you see that warning is coming, you can send a mail that saying that you are extra utilizing. Please try to manage within 2 days. Please try to reduce your extra usage within 100 GB within 2 days. So that is how you can manage the space problem in an organization. So how to do that? Okay, so now let's come back to practical example. Fine. So Quota, we don't have that particular package. So let's install. Yes, let's install that. Oh, I need to have root. I'm not an admin. Now switch to admin. Install the Quota package. Uh-oh, so I don't have internet. So let's get the internet here. I don't have IP, so let's get the IP through dhclient command. I have got the IP. Now install the package. You can say that now it's updating the primary underscore DB. So you can remember my previous lectures. Whenever it thinks that some updated packages are available on internet on these websites, it will try to download. So now you can see that it has downloaded 17 MB. 17 MB of this metadata primary underscore DB. We may not install that updated package here, but still it has some changes in primary underscore DB. So it will keep up to date itself, and whenever there is a change in the DB file, it will download that information only. If there is no change, it will just check with few KBs and then it will exit. Anyway, so we are going to download this. Okay, press yes, let it download and install. After installation, we will go ahead and check how to implement that. You can see that man space quota. Now the man page is available. It means the quota command is available. So we have the help for this. So what the help says display disk usage and limits. So we'll be able to see the disk usage and limit. Let me see if I'm able to get what I'm trying to showcase here. No, I don't have here. Quota CTL, quota check. Mm, set quota. Let me see if set quota does have that or not. What I'm checking for. Or add quota. Yeah, add quota does have that or not. EDQ. Edit user quotas. Okay. Okay, this also does not have that, what I'm trying to say. Okay, no problem. So there is something called hard limit, soft limit, and grace period. So let me go to the board. So we have something called hard limit, we have something called soft limit, and then we have something called grace period. So hard limit means we wanted to set 100 GB of limit, hard limit. User will never be permitted to create a file more than 100 GB. I mean, 100 is what you're going to limit. It's not what I'm doing, what I'm saying right now. Whatever your permission says, let's say if your policy says or your organization allows based on your resources given that you are allowed for 100 GB, then you will be allowed for 100 GB. Then that's you can set in hard limit, and then will you will enforce a policy. A user will have only 100 GB. Soft limit is you can have 100 GB. You can allow up to 100 GB, and then not only 100 GB I'm talking about here. And that after that, user will get a warning that you are exceeding more than your assigned quota limit, but the user will be allowed for that particular user will be allowed to create a file. If you want a grace period, you can mention a grace period. For that, user will be allowed to create a file more than his assigned file, whatever you have assigned. In soft limit, whatever you have assigned, the user will be allowed to user will be allowed to create a new files beyond the quota, but have some certain limitation. Let's say if you're setting for 2 days, he will be allowed to create 2 days, but he will get a warning also whenever he creates a file or do something that you are exceeding the limit uh, based on your quota. And within 2 days, he has to manage. After 2 days, he will not be allowed to create any file inside a directory. So this is how we are going to manage users space or user space in an organization. So let's move on how to implement that. Okay. So first of all, we need to specify quota check for which file system we wanted to run. Okay, so we need to have, okay, so we need to have a quota check initialized so that quota automatically runs in its background and keep checking the limits for the user. So for that, we need to initialize it. So let's check whether quota check is enabled or not. Can't find file system to check or file system not mounted with quota options. Okay, so what it is doing, it is looking at a file called etcfs tab. Now I can expect everybody to know what this file is because I have already explained multiple times this information, what fs tab file holds actually. Okay, so in this, it is not able to find out what information it's looking for. So let us tell This linear by having an entry in FS tab that which file system we wanted to have enabled quota checked. So let's see how much partition we do have. fdisk-l we have STP which is of around 2147, so which is of around 2 GB, we can say that currently. So let's create a partition on that. Fdisk hyphen sorry slash dev slash stp. Let's create a primary partition and write it down. So now fdisk hyphen l, what it gives stp1. Now we have a partition called stp1. Okay, so now let's add an entry here. Slash developer, then mount name, what is the file system type, ext4, defaults, quota, user quota, group quota, then permissions we have here. Now let's reboot the system and see whether FS tab is coming correctly or not. If it gets stuck, then we can say clearly that something wrong we might have mentioned in. Oh, I have not given which file system. Either it's a dev slash or stp1, stp2. Yep, you can see that it got stuck here. You can see that a start job is running for disk developer.device. It thinks that developer is a device and it's trying to mount, but actually it's not there. You can see that I have given a wrong entry, and that's what it's trying to mount, and it's got stuck here. So let's wait for some time, 1 minute 30 seconds. That's what it's saying. And after some point of time, it will give up and it will fail to mount that file system, and then it will load the operating system. So I should have given that slash dev slash sdp1. So now I need to let us see if it's working this time or not. Can someone guess that what wrong we might have done in that? It's open for everyone. Okay, let me modify that then. This is not good. It should have done this time. We have STB1. Okay, so we have a known file system. That's why it is not able to mount. That was a problem. Fine. So let's format that file system in ext4 mkfs dot ext4 slash dev slash stp1. That's formatted. Now let's try to mount. Okay, we are able to mount, no problem. Okay, so now on mount slash dev slash stp1. STB1 is there and it's not mounted. Is it because of that? Let me see. Now let's see reboot whether it's working or not this time. Last time what problem we were facing that it was not showing, it was just showing that we were having problem during mounting of whatever the entry we have given in FSTab. So when we try to mount that manually, we have seen that it's having a problem during, now also it's having problem, it seems. LVM to PV scan on device 82. I need to see whether 8:2 device. Okay, you can see these logs and you can think of something. What I'm able to think is start a LVM PV to scan on device 8:2. 8:2 is a major number and minor number for a particular device. So I'll see whether this 8:2 should not be our device, SDB1. Let's see, let's come up this. Okay, let's give a simple more example. Let's give more simple example. Home, home, but it is ext4 or not. This time I'm trying with simple folder, not with the device. Let's see whether it's working or not. So folder means like whatever folder I'm having, I'm just trying to execute this, sorry, quota method on the top of that. It should not get stuck there. Home underscore devices is still searching. So it seems like we need to resolve that issue. Hmm.
Sir, default spelling is wrong, sir.
Is it so?
Yes, sir.
Let me check. Yeah, this is mounted. Okay, let me check there. Uh-oh, that's wrong. Thanks for pointing out. You said quota, group quota, fine. Now, let's give this itself. Not in home because home folder is already there. Hmm. Okay, let's see. Hope it should mount after this. It happens. Thanks for pointing out. But let's see. It's still there.
Sir, I guess there may be something wrong with the format.
Format means
Like you are giving default and then group quota like that. Sir, what if we give XFS instead of ext4?
we have formatted that partition in ext4
Okay.
partition type, not in XFS. That's why we are giving it. You might have seen that I have given a command mkfx.ext4. I'm just trying to check if It has given any messages. It's all about, no, it does not have because it's all about messages about IP address. 527 line number. Okay. We got stuck here. STB1 dot devices failed for developer local file system. Mark the needed to relabel after reboot. Relabel all file system if necessary. Migrate local SLNX old structure to new structure. We have relabeled it, but not this. I have labeled that to be a developer. Developer file system volume name is there. Okay. UUID is also there. That's fine. Hmm. Somebody has rightly said we may have some problem with that. So it shows some problem like that. Here it shows that user quota is unrecognized actually. So it should be, there is one typo here also. It should be USR quota, not USER quota. Okay, great, fine. So I think we are able to get successfully mounted that. STA, it's not showing here, that's okay. LSPLK space hyphen L. Here also it's just showing STP1. Fine, let me restart now. Great, it's not mounted. So this time we have given slash dev slash STP1, but we have corrected that as well. We have login screen now. So it means that has been mounted and that is correct. There was a typo. Thanks for pointing out. Previously somebody has already pointed, but I did not look over it. Quota check hyphen AVUG is going to give us, you can see that previously it was showing that no quota check or some error was showing. So now you can see that slash dev slash STP1